What is up, everybody? We are on the road to 1,000 subscribers. If you want the real, unfiltered truth about the Cleveland Browns, the stuff nobody else will say, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button right now. It takes 1 second, helps the channel immensely, and you won't miss what's coming. Because what I'm about to tell you, it's franchise altering. Cleveland just went from drama to absolute unmitigated chaos. Forget everything you thought you knew about the Browns quarterback situation. Forget the coach speak. Forget the practice reports. Forget the process. We have reached a breaking point. Sources deep inside the Cleveland Browns facility, people who have seen it all, are saying that head coach Kevin Stefanski, after weeks of stubbornly refusing to even name Shedeur Sanders the number 2 quarterback, finally cracked. He literally, and I mean literally, begged Shedeur Sanders to start, begged him to save his job, to save this pathetic 2-6 season. And what did Shedeur do next? What did Primetime's son do when the man who buried him on the depth chart came crawling? He pulled the trigger. He said the one thing that nobody in that building had the guts to say. And in that one moment, players, coaches, even ownership were left absolutely speechless. This isn't just some rumor mill talk. This isn't speculation. This is the moment, the exact flashpoint that could either save the Cleveland Browns or burn the entire franchise down to the studs. Let's set the scene because you have to understand the level of incompetence and dysfunction we are dealing with. The Cleveland Browns are 2-6. The season is over, done, finished, kaput. They just came off a bye week, 13 full days to prepare, to get right, to fix something. And before that, they got absolutely demolished, humiliated by the New England Patriots. Yeah, those Patriots. The same Patriots who are still trying to figure out if they even have a quarterback. The same Patriots who just fired Gerard Mayo because he was a complete and total clown show. And somehow Kevin Stefanski's Cleveland Browns made that team look like the 2007 Patriots. They made them look like world beaters. That is how pathetic this has gotten. And at the center of it all is the quarterback situation. A situation so ridiculous, so mind-numbing, that even people who don't follow the Browns are tuning in just to watch this spectacular dumpster fire unfold. For weeks, Kevin Stefanski has been trotting out rookie quarterback Dillon Gabriel, the guy they spent a top 100 pick on. The guy the front office, led by the genius Andrew Berry, has been shoving down fans' throats, telling everyone, yeah, he can play. He's a serious guy. He has a supercomputer in his brain. Well, let me tell you something about that supercomputer. It's apparently short-circuiting. Dillon Gabriel has been, and I'm putting this kindly, unwatchable. He's hard to watch. We're not just saying that. The Cleveland media, the guys who are paid to watch every single practice, every single throw, are screaming from the rooftops that this man cannot complete passes in practice. Let that sink in for just 1 second. We are not talking about game pressure. We're not talking about an all-pro defensive line bearing down on him. We are talking about 7s against air, against practice squad guys, and the dude is missing wide open receivers. His stats tell part of the story, but not even the whole ugly truth. He's completing barely 60% of his passes, 700 yards, 5 touchdowns, 2 picks, and a miserable 78 passer rating. Now on paper, you look at 5-2 and think, well, that's not terrible. You'd be wrong, dead wrong. If you actually watch the games, it is check down city. It is 5-yard passes, safe throws, conservative garbage. It's a quarterback playing scared football. He takes safeties. He throws ducks. One analyst, bless his heart for trying, gave him credit for finally throwing a ball more than 30 yards downfield. You know what happened? It was a wounded duck, floated up for grabs, and it got intercepted. But hey, at least he tried, right? This is the guy Andrew Berry used valuable draft capital on. This is the guy they gave first team reps to in OTAS, sending a message to the entire locker room that this was their man, and it has been an unmitigated disaster. But here's what's driving Browns fans, some of the most loyal, long-suffering fans in all of sports, absolutely insane. It's not just that Dillon Gabriel is bad, it's who is sitting on the bench collecting splinters, watching this clown show unfold. Shedeur Sanders, the son of Deion Sanders, the kid who has been trained since birth by one of the greatest and most confident athletes to ever walk the planet. A quarterback who brings swagger, who brings confidence, who brings that it factor that makes people actually want to tune in and watch football. He's sitting right there. He has a pocket presence that you simply cannot teach. He has an arm that can make all the NFL throws. He has the pedigree. And what does this offensive genius Kevin Stefanski do with this asset? What does this process-driven front office do? They bury him. They bury him on the depth chart behind Dillon Gabriel. And when that wasn't enough, when people started asking, hey, why isn't this kid at least getting QB2 reps? The team created a mysterious phantom back injury that literally nobody can explain. Oh, you thought I was exaggerating about the phantom injury? You thought that was just a fan theory? Think again. Before the Patriots game, Cleveland reporters, guys who are there every single day, started asking the simple questions. How did Shedeur get hurt? He didn't play in the last game. He hasn't been getting any reps. How do you get injured when you're not even playing? And the response from Stefanski and the Browns organization: crickets, silence. One reporter, just completely fed up, said it out loud for everyone to hear. They won't even let the kid play. How the hell did he get hurt? This, ladies and gentlemen, is where the conspiracy theory, the one that is now setting Cleveland radio on fire, was born. One reporter, my man from Black and White Sports, dropped a bomb that makes too much sense. He said he's got a theory, just a theory, but it's one that explains everything. He thinks Kevin Stefanski wanted the ability to elevate Bailey Zappi over Shedeur Sanders if Dillon Gabriel went down. Think about that. Let that marinate in your brain for a second. Bailey Zappi, the guy who couldn't hold down the starting job in New England when they had nothing else. The guy the Patriots cut. That's who Kevin Stefanski, the alleged offensive guru, trusts more than Shedeur Sanders. Why? Why would he do that? It's simple. Control. Stefanski is a control freak. He wants a quarterback who is going to be a robot. A quarterback who will do exactly what he says. Run the play exactly as it's drawn up. Not improvise, not freelance, not change the play at the line. Bailey Zapp is that guy. He's the ultimate yes-man quarterback. He will take the three-step drop, look to his first read, and if it's not there, he'll check it down or eat the ball. He's programmable. Shedeur Sanders, he's a maverick. He's got his father's confidence. He's got that primetime DNA. He would walk up to the line, see a safety creeping into the box, and he would check out of Stefanski's safe run play into a deep shot. He would change protections, he would freelance, extend the play, and make magic happen. And that right there, that improvisation, that confidence, scares the living hell out of a control freak coach like Kevin Stefanski, who is already coaching for his job. He doesn't want swagger, he doesn't want prime time, he wants a puppet, and he was willing to manufacture a mysterious injury and lie to the media to protect his ability to play that puppet. Now, some of you out there, the apologists, the trust the process crowd, might be saying, well, maybe Shedeur just isn't ready. Maybe he's not good in practice. And look, I get it. Not every quarterback is ready to start from day one. The NFL is a different beast. But here's the thing that nobody in the Cleveland front office, from Andrew Berry down to Kevin Stefanski, seems to understand. This isn't a 10-0 team trying to protect a rookie. This is a 2-6 dumpster fire. The season is over. You are playing for draft position. You are playing for evaluation. What exactly are you evaluating by running Dillon Gabriel out there again? We've seen it. We know what he is. He's not the guy. He can't play. Waiting until you're 2-12 when it really doesn't mean anything is organizational malpractice. You have a bye week. You just had 13 full days. That is almost 2 full weeks to prepare. That is a lifetime in the NFL. It's the perfect God-given opportunity to make a change, to give Shedeur Sanders the first team reps, to build a game plan around his skills, to actually see what you have in the kid you drafted. Does anybody with a functioning brain really think running Dillon Gabriel out there again is going to make him better? The answer is no, absolutely not. So why not make the change? Why not give the fans, the city, something to be interested in? But they won't do it. Of course they won't, because nothing this front office has done, starting from the end of last year at the quarterback position, has made a single ounce of sense. And for that reason alone, the entire front office needs to go. Andrew Berry needs to go. Kevin Stefanski needs to go. You need to change everything. This isn't just one bad decision. This is a pattern of dysfunction. This is a pattern of failure. This is a pattern of ego getting in the way of winning. And the Cleveland media, they are in full-blown 5-alarm meltdown mode. Bravo, bravo. These guys aren't holding back anymore. One host on Cleveland radio just went nuclear. He said, and I quote, "I don't have hate in my heart. I'm just so frustrated that Andrew Berry did this. That Andrew Berry spent a top 100 pick on this guy. That Andrew Berry and the Browns are shoving this guy down fans' throats, trying to tell you, yeah, he can play. He's a serious guy. Like, no, he's not. You're not serious people." Let that wash over you. You're not serious people. That is a nuclear take. That is your own city's media, the people who cover you every single day, looking the general manager in the face and telling him he is not a serious person, that he is a joke. And you know what? He's 100% right. Andrew Berry, the GM, the analytics whiz, the smartest guy in the room, used valuable draft capital on Dillon Gabriel. He gave him those first team reps. He's the one who talked about the supercomputer in his brain. None of that matters. None of it matters when the dude can't see over his own offensive line. This is the brutal, harsh, uncomfortable reality that nobody in the Browns building wants to say out loud, but every single person watching is thinking, Dillon Gabriel is too small, plain and simple. He's smart, he's got heart, he's probably a great kid, I'm sure he is, but it's hard to outsmart your sheer lack of size. One analyst put it perfectly, if Dillon Gabriel was 6 feet 2 inches, 230 pounds, he would have been a first-round pick, but he's not. He can't see the field. He can't see the windows opening up. He can't make throws into tight spots because he doesn't have the height or the arm to drive the ball. Every throw is a prayer. Every throw is a lob. And in the NFL, lobs get picked off. Lobs get defensive backs paid. Andrew Berry, with all his charts and all his data, somehow missed the most basic fundamental element of playing quarterback in the NFL. You have to be able to see the field. How does an analytics-driven GM miss that? How do you invest a top 100 pick in a guy who, by his very physical nature, cannot perform the basic functions of the job at an NFL level? It's incompetence. It's hubris. It's Andrew Berry thinking he's smarter than football, and he's been proven disastrously wrong. Meanwhile, Shedeur Sanders is sitting right there with the NFL size, with the live arm, with the pedigree, and this team refuses to even give him a shot. Let's talk about entertainment value for just a second, because in the National Football League, that matters more than people want to admit. The NFL is an entertainment product. It's a TV show. People need a reason to tune in, a reason to buy the jerseys, a reason to pay for the tickets. When Jackson Dart came into the league with the Giants, you immediately knew that kid was must-see TV. People who didn't even care about the Giants started watching their games just to see what that kid would do next. That's what a star, what a franchise quarterback brings to the table. Cleveland has one of the best fan bases in all of football. Browns fans show up through everything. They show up through 0 and 16 seasons. They show up through coaching carousel after coaching carousel. They deserve something. They deserve anything to get excited about. And right now, watching Dillon Gabriel dink and dunk his way to another 3 and out isn't cutting it. One reporter said it best. He said, "Put Shedeur Sanders out there. At least you might be entertained." And that's all fans have been saying. At least you might be entertained. He might come out and throw 4 interceptions. Who cares? This team is 2 and 6. What are you protecting? A shot at the number 3 pick instead of the number 2 pick. But at least the fans will be interested. At least there will be hope. At least there will be a reason to watch on Sunday. There is nothing, and I mean nothing, interesting about watching Dillon Gabriel run this offense. That's the reality that Kevin Stefanski, with his laminated play sheet and his permanent visor, just doesn't seem to understand. Browns fans aren't asking for Patrick Mahomes. They're not asking for perfection. They just want a reason to turn on the TV. They want something that gives them hope for the future, something that makes Sunday afternoons worth watching again. Shedeur gives them that. Even if he struggles, he gives them that. Dillon Gabriel gives them nothing. Absolutely nothing. Now, let's address the elephant in the room, the $230 million elephant. What about Deshaun Watson? Isn't he coming back soon? Yeah? Apparently Deshaun is close to returning from his injury. But come on, man, are we really going to do this dance again? Are we really going to pretend that that's the answer? The whole Deshaun Watson situation has been an unmitigated disaster from the second it happened. The owner, Jimmy Haslam, completely screwed up. He got rid of Baker Mayfield, who he ran out of town, and who is now, by the way, in the MVP conversation playing for Tampa Bay. Just let that sink in. He ran that guy out of town to trade everything, all the draft picks, all the money, all the dignity, for Deshaun Watson. And Watson hasn't been able to play at an NFL level since he got to Cleveland. That one move, that one decision by Haslam set this franchise back years. And here's where it gets even crazier. There is speculation, very real speculation, that maybe the reason the Browns are keeping Shedeur on the bench, the reason they created the phantom injury, the reason they're not preparing him is because they are waiting for Watson to come back. Because in their minds, in their warped, dysfunctional front office, Watson is still the guy. If that is true, if they are really holding back a potential franchise quarterback, a kid who could be the future, just to run it back again with a guy who has proven he can't perform for them, then this front office needs to be completely, totally, and immediately cleaned out. Fired. Gone. For that reason alone, the front office needs to go. This isn't just about one bad game. It's about a pattern of catastrophic decision making that starts at the very top. Think about the timeline. Last year, the quarterback situation made no sense. This year, it's made even less sense. They drafted Dillon Gabriel way too high. They refused to give Shedeur a real chance. They've created mysterious injuries. They've fed the fans a diet of excuses, and now they're telling everyone to just trust the process. What process? The process of losing? The process of being 2-6? The process of wasting another season of Myles Garrett's prime? The process of being the laughingstock of the league? That process? And let's talk about Kevin Stefanski specifically for a minute. This is a guy who won Coach of the Year. Early in his tenure, he showed flashes. He really did. The team had success. But ever since then, it has been a steady, agonizing decline into mediocrity and now into straight-up embarrassment. He has become a walking meme in Cleveland. People are literally comparing him to Gerard Mayo, the guy who just got fired from the Patriots for being in way over his head. After the latest loss, Stefanski stood at that podium, looked the media in the eye, and said, "Dillon Gabriel gave us the best chance to win," and the entire city of Cleveland ripped him to shreds for it. One guy on social media posted, "Dude's been doing this for 32 years, rated by One Family Magazine #1 clown 9 straight years. That is savage." But when you keep trotting out the same tired excuses after every single embarrassing loss, what do you expect? Stefanski keeps saying, "We have to do better." It wasn't for a lack of effort. It's just a matter of getting another opportunity. We have to get him back to work. The goal is to get better. It just takes time. Bro, how much more time do you need? You've been saying this for 32 games. At some point, the excuses run out. At some point, you have to actually show some results. And right now, the only result Cleveland fans are seeing is their team getting blown out by bad football teams while their potential franchise quarterback collects dust. The weapon situation isn't great. I'll give them that. You look at the receiving cores, you've got David Njoku, who's a talent. You've got Gerald Everett Jr., who probably has something. Jerry Jeudy hasn't done anything. Amari Cooper is gone. His career basically over because of a knee injury. So yeah, whoever is playing quarterback isn't working with an elite group. But you know what? That is even more reason to play Shedeur Sanders. When you don't have weapons, when your receivers can't get open, you need a quarterback who can create. You need a guy who can extend the play. You need a guy with confidence, with arm talent, who can make something happen when the play breaks down. Dillon Gabriel is not that guy. He is the opposite of that guy. He is a statue in the pocket. The second the first red isn't there, he panics. He's playing scared, checking it down, taking sacks instead of just throwing the ball away. Shedeur, with his background, with the training he's had, with the swagger he brings, at least he'd give you a chance. At least he'd make a play with his legs. He'd trust his arm. He'd give you a shot. This offense, with Gabriel at the helm, has 0.0 chance of producing explosive plays. It's an offense built on a prayer that the defense will score. That's not a plan. That's desperation. Here's the part that should terrify every single Browns fan. What if they waste this entire season? What if they run out Dillon Gabriel for 8 more games? They go 2-14 or 3-13, and then in a meaningless Week 18 game, they finally decide, okay, let's see what we have in Shedeur. At that point, you've lost an entire year of development. You've lost a year of building chemistry. You've lost a year of him learning NFL defenses on the fly. You've thrown away an entire season just to protect Dillon Gabriel's feelings, to save Andrew Berry's face on a bad draft pick. That is not how you build a franchise. That is organizational malpractice. The Patriots saw Gerard Mayo wasn't working, and they fired him. They didn't drag it out. They didn't make excuses. They pivoted, because that's what good organizations do. The Browns, on the other hand, are stuck in this endless toxic cycle of protecting bad decisions instead of correcting them. And let's be real about something else. The hate that Dillon Gabriel is getting. It's not really his fault. He didn't ask to be overdrafted. He didn't ask to be shoved into a starting role before he was ready. He is a victim of Andrew Barry's horrible evaluation and Kevin Stefanski's ridiculous stubbornness. But that doesn't change the cold, hard reality that he is not the answer, and continuing to play him is just delaying the inevitable and, in the process, poisoning the entire organization. This brings us back to the breaking point. The bye week. The 2-6 record, the humiliation, the media screaming, the fans revolting, and according to my sources, it wasn't just the fans. Other people around the league, insiders, coaches, executives on other teams, scouts from other teams started calling people in Cleveland and asking, "What the hell are you guys waiting for? Why are you not preparing Shedeur Sanders to play?" Think about how embarrassing that is. The rest of the league is looking at you, questioning your competence. They cannot believe what the Browns are doing. When the entire league is looking at you like you've lost the plot, you have in fact lost the plot. So the pressure just hit a breaking point. This is the moment that changes everything. Kevin Stefanski, with his back against the wall, knowing his job is on the line, knowing the fans hate him, knowing the media is calling for his head, knowing his guy, Dillon Gabriel, can't play, he finally caved. He went to Shedeur Sanders, and he didn't just ask. Sources say the man was desperate. He begged. "Shedeur, we need you. I need you to start. I need you to save us." He was a man out of options, and he fully expected Shedeur, the rookie who's been riding the bench, to just jump at the chance. "Yeah, coach." "Thanks, coach. I'm ready, coach." But that is not what happened. That is not what a Sanders does. Shedeur Sanders looked Kevin Stefanski dead in the eye, and he finally pulled the trigger. He didn't just say yes. He didn't just gratefully accept the crumbs from the coach's table. He shocked everyone. According to sources who were left speechless in that building, Shedeur Sanders essentially told Kevin Stefanski what the Cleveland radio hosts have been screaming for weeks. He told him, "You're not serious people." He didn't yell. He didn't scream. He was pure, cold, primetime confidence. He called him out. He said, "You want me to play now? After you buried me on the depth chart, after you lied to the media and said I had a phantom injury just so you could protect your puppet, Bailey Zapp. After you've given every single first-team rep for 8 weeks to a guy who can't complete a pass in practice. And now that the season is completely in the toilet and your job is on the line, now you come crawling to me? You want me to be the Band-Aid? You want me to save your job?" He called out the phantom injury. He called out the stubbornness of sticking with Gabriel. He called out the front office for putting them in this position. He essentially told his head coach, "You guys don't know how to win, and I'm not going to be the Band-Aid you slap on this bullet wound to save your jobs." Players, coaches, even ownership were left with their jaws on the floor. This rookie, this kid who they tried to bury, just seized all the power in the organization. He didn't demand a trade. He didn't cry to the media. He waited. He waited until they were at their most desperate, until they came begging to him. And then he pulled the trigger and told them the unvarnished truth. He took control of the narrative. He let them know that if he does play, it's not going to be on their broken terms. It's going to be on his. He's not just going to run Stefanski's scared conservative offense. He's not going to be the next guy they scapegoat. This is the chaos in Cleveland right now. The head coach has been exposed, the front office has been exposed, and the one man who might be able to save them just told them to their faces that they are the problem. So what happens now? What's the fallout from this explosion? Well, Stefanski, in a pathetic, face-saving, last gasp of a dying regime move, has already pathetically named Dillon Gabriel the starter for the game after the bye. It's a desperate last-ditch attempt to prove he was right, to prove he's still in control, but that's not going to last. The dam is about to break. My prediction, Gabriel gets 1, maybe 2 more games. If he comes out and lays another egg, if the Browns are sitting at 2-8, the pressure will be too much. The stadium will be chanting Shedeur's name. The boos for Gabriel will be deafening, and Stefanski will be forced by ownership to play the very kid who just called him out in front of the entire organization. And what a spectacular mess that will be. The entire situation is a mess. It is organizational malpractice from top to bottom. They have a potential franchise star, a kid with swagger, talent, and the most famous last name in football, wasting away on their bench because of ego, stubbornness, and a front office that is more concerned with saving face on a bad draft pick than with actually winning football games. Something has got to give in Cleveland, and my gut tells me it is going to give, and it is going to be spectacular. So here's my question for you, and I need you to be honest. Do you think Shedeur Sanders should be starting right now, or do you think this front office is so broken that it doesn't even matter? And the bigger question, if you were Shedeur Sanders, after everything they've pulled, after the lies, after burying you, would you even want to play for these people? Drop your thoughts in the comments section below. This situation is far from over, and it is about to get a whole lot messier. And if you want to stay updated on every piece of drama, every rumor, and every move in this Cleveland Browns quarterback catastrophe, make sure you hit that like button, hammer that subscribe button, and ring that notification bell. Because trust me, you are not going to want to miss what happens next.